Hey guys, it's Diana here. I thought I'd come in and show you how I made some chipboard tiles. I did try to do a live stream the other day, but my sound was cutting out. Then I streamed, that was through my OBS streaming software. Then I streamed straight through the YouTube live feed, but the pixelation and the movement is all dodgy. So here I am trying to do another recorded video this time, so hopefully you guys can see better on what I actually did. These are the tiles that I've made previously. These are all finished and coated and shiny. I don't know if we can pick up the shininess. You can see, where am I going here? Not used to this camera. Pick up the shininess there. You can see that it has been embossed with some clear embossing powder to give it a shine. You can use other ways of giving it the shine by using a 3D kind of medium, like glossy accents, or a diamond glazed diamond glaze. There we go, I got it. And it'll give you something similar, but I find that diamond glaze and glossy accents, it uses a lot of it. So using an embossing powder, you use less. But in saying that, I have almost used up my whole pot. But I have, as you can see, made a lot of tiles. And we're going to make some more together. I'm going to move these out the way. And then we're going to make some more. Right, so what you're going to need is some chipboard. I'm using a 2.8 I think thickness chipboard. You can use cereal box, but you're going to have to layer them together because you don't want your tiles to bend. This will not bend. So then you're going to grab yourself a napkin. You're going to use whatever napkins that you have that you like the picture of. You're going to attach them with some glue, with some Mod Podge or watered down white glue, which is what I used. And you're going to glue them to some book page. This is just a random book page, and I've glued it down, and that's because I wanted to be able to see the book page through the napkin. So what you do is you separate your napkin so that you only have the one ply. This one has been separated already, but if you take one that hasn't, like this one, you're going to separate that back piece, or pieces. Some of them have 2 or 3 layers. This one has 2 layers. Take that one off, you take this one off, and you're left with just the top layer. Your top layer should be kind of see-through-ish, and you'll know that that is the last layer. Okay, so you only want that top layer. Then you're going to glue that top layer to your book page, right? So that's what you have. Then you're going to cut out your pieces. You're going to put your whatever pieces that you've cut, not necessarily squares. I've got other shapes here that are not squares, you see. So you're going to cut whatever shape you have. Just draw a line around it and cut it out with the scissors. Once you've done that, you're going to have something that looks like that, okay? And they fit onto those chipboard pieces. So we're just going to go ahead and glue them on. So just using just a white glue, you're going to just glue them on, just like that. I like to burnish mine down so that it is, you know, stuck well to the chipboard. And I need to move that up a little bit. Oh, I'll be fine. Make sure it's covering all your chipboard. You're going to wait a few minutes for your glue to dry. Then just take your scissors and cut around that rough edge so that you've got a smoother edge. I'm not waiting because we're recording, so I'm just going to cut mine, but you would wait a few minutes so that your glue is dry. Okay, so just cut around those edges so that it's flush with your chipboard. Just like that. And then you're going to take a nail file or some sort of tool that you can buff the edges. So what I'm going to do is put my nail file down and then scrape, down and scrape. If you go this way and lift, it'll lift the paper up, and you don't want to do that. So put it down and scrape and just buff that edge, and you then make that paper, I don't know if you can see, but you can make that paper really adhere to that edge, and it's nice and smooth and no rough edges at all. It's nice and even, and you're going to do this to all your pieces. And if you have any glue, you can buff that off too. That'll come straight off. Alright, so you have a nice smooth piece. And I'm going to do it to the other two as well. So we've buffed those edges. Now what you're going to do is take a ink pad, whatever colour that you decide that your tiles are going to be in. If you're doing a shabby chic kind of colour combo, you might want to do pink edges, or if you're doing a darker one like me, you can do black or brown. I'm going to do these ones in Vintage Photo. Okay, and then you're going to stamp on them. So you're going to use, if you've got a really busy pattern like this butterfly, you don't really need to stamp on that because it's already got a lot going on. See how that's really busy? I really don't need to stamp on that, so I'm just going to move those aside. I don't need to, but this one I can do a little bit of stamping, and I think I'm going to use my Timber Brown Stays On ink, and I'm going to just add some flowers to this one, like that. I'll use this one as well. Just whatever stamps you want. Some of them I've put some words on. I think I'll just leave that one with the flowers, like that. So that tile is done. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is bring those back, and this is where we get our embossing powder out. And I've just got a book page here that I've been using to collect the embossing powder on, so I can tip it back into the pot. You have your heat tool ready, and you're going to grab your Versamark. I'm just going to move that over a little bit. Grab your Versamark ink pad. Now mine's all grungy looking, but that's because the ink that I used on the pieces is transferred to the pad, but it doesn't actually affect it at all. So we're just going to squish it into the pad like that, and it'll give you like a watermark. So you see how that's wet to there? That's where I just dipped it. Now I'm going to do the other end and turn it around and squish it in, and now the whole thing has been dipped in. Alright, so we're going to put that aside and do the next one. And the next one. Alright, and then we can put that away and bring that back in. I'm going to use a pair of tweezers to hold my tile because it's going to be hot, and it's a lot easier to hold it with a pair of tweezers than burning your fingers. So I'm just dipping it back in there to grab some embossing powder on that little bit of the corner where my tweezers were. Oh, I can see I missed a bit there. Okay. If you find that you've missed a bit or you haven't caught some of it, you can go back in after you've embossed it and re-dip it in the Versamark ink and then reheat it. It will be fine. Okay, I'm going to put this back in the pot. Move that out of the way. I need those. Okay, I need the tweezers. Okay, so now what we're going to do is pick your tile up. I'm using this non-stick heat mat so that I don't heat up the surface underneath my paper there, which is one of those cutting mats, and it will distort it with the heat. So if I blow most of my heat onto this, it won't distort the mat underneath. Okay, so you just turn on your heat tool and heat that up, and you'll be able to see that melt. And you'll know it's ready when it's all shiny. Do the edges. And I'm just going to move it over because I need to do this corner where I was holding on to it. There we go. And you can see now that that's all shiny and wet looking. That's all done when it looks like that. And I'll put that, that's hot now, so I'm going to put that aside over here and do the next one. Alright, all done. So those are done, and they're all shiny now. You can see how they all look like shiny. And that one too, when I can't get it, there we go. And this one as well. Okay, so I can't really, there you go. So that's it, that's how you make chipboard tiles. And if you want to add any embellishments, like there was one here that I added a heart to. Don't know where it is right now, but oh, there it is. This one that I added a heart to. The heart is actually paper, and I just punched it out with a punch. Where am I? Punched it out with a punch, and before I embossed it, I glued it down just with normal glue. Glued it down, then I stamped, and then I embossed. So you can add bits of paper to it as well. So guys, thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions about any of this, let me know, and I will be happy to answer them. I'm going to cover a book front with these pieces. The book will be one that I made, that I stitched together, and I have a whole bunch of tiles here that I still need to do, that need to have the process done to them. So this is not it. I'll have heaps more yet, and I'll talk to you all again soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.